Tri-City Sports Now. I'm Marky Billson. I know one of the things I've talked about, would hockey ever catch on? I think it would. I think it would be very big in the Tri-Cities. By the way, look at that round of their postseason action. I keep talking about, if a new arena came to the Tri-Cities, what would it mean to SPHL? I mean, that would be a real feather in the cap for the Tri-Cities. Then suddenly you start to, hey, where's the NASCAR track? Hey, where's the hockey team? Hey, maybe ETSU can compete on a D1 level with some bigger boys, so to speak. Anyway, that's one of the conversations I've had for a long time. But anyway, one of the things I think that from time to time is the fighting. It gives the sport the reputation of being, I don't know, something that bikers watch or something. I mean, that's just the way you look at it. Nancy Armour, who is a columnist for the USA Today, has come out with a column that I think is spot on. Fighting in the NHL is brutish, outdated, and needs to be banned. They don't fight in Olympic hockey, and that gets great ratings. They don't fight in, say, at least, in high schools or the colleges. With Washington, Carolina, and why in the world is Alexander Ovechkin knocking out one of the best players or one of the up-and-coming stars, Andrei Svechnikov. Takes me a bit to pronounce him. Forgive me, it's not Smith and Miller, but then again, Svechnikov. When these two teams play tomorrow night, Svechnikov will probably got his hand. Sometimes the idea is that hockey it seems like somebody hurts themselves, they break their hand on another player's helmet, something like that. And I've even heard, look, on skates, can you really throw a punch that'll hurt? Well, in this case, Ovechkin did. Carolina coach Rod Brindamore said, he feels great. He looks normal. But as Armour says, do we really believe that? And even if he does, so what? Damage done. I say this before, I'll say it again. Years ago, Lemieux. In fact, I've even covered hockey, especially in southern cities, I'd like for this piece that I'm writing, this preview of tomorrow's game, to be able to talk to one of your better players. Or, who would you say your star is on the team? Well, do you want to know scorers or do you want to know fighters? Say what you will, but everybody on the ice brawls like in Slapshot. And in fact, what was the whole rule with Reggie Dunlap, Paul Newman's character trying to find a quick buck. Hey, the Hanson brothers might not be able to put it in the net, but, they're able to rough everybody up when the other guy isn't looking. So, yeah. And so then you had pro wrestling on ice or whatever. Actually, it was a little bit more serious than that, but you get the idea. Right now, when you saw what Ovechkin did, it looked like the MMA on ice. Now, there's a lot of calls to go to ban hockey fights because I think that eventually, and I'm with you, it's more the image that it portrays. It's barbaric. And what's more, it's not all that exciting. You get some pretty good action going, free flow of the game, fast pace. Oh, look here. away, a couple of goons start throwing haymakers. You know what? Again, I came to see goals scored. I came to see athleticism. I didn't come to see a boxing match and a hockey game broke out, as Rodney Dangerfield once said. Out against hockey is Dan Carcillo. I covered Dan Carcillo in the minor leagues. I have ever seen on the ice at any level. He was a guy who would skate all over the ice just to pick a fight. In fact, I think he got sent down to the ECHL from the AHL because of his aggressive behavior. And they wanted to try to say, look, a fierce critic of the NHL's approach to head trauma, trying to prevent this sort of fighting in hockey. It's interesting to see that there is now, more than ever, sort of a backlash to it. All right, we don't have necessarily, I think, the Tiger Williamses that we once did. He's the all-time leader in the NHL in penalty minutes, and if you want to know. The idea that this makes the game safer, that's supposedly one of the things that Nancy Armour says that has been defended to keep fighting in hockey. I've heard Brett Hull talk to Don Cherry. Terrible thing. Go to, the pro wrestling. Go to, see boxing. But really, whoever said when they went to a baseball game, boy, I hope there's a bench clearing brawl. Whoever said, you know what? I like the fights that Ron Artest brought to the NBA. Come on. Yeah. You have this Neanderthalish opinion that isn't even fully embraced throughout all levels of hockey. Mario Lemieux. I want to talk about how his reach and control of the puck is amazing. I want to talk about the time that I once saw him put a move on a defenseman from the Islanders that tricked the blue liner so much in moving his body and trying to keep up with him in the awkward position that the defenseman was put in because of Lemieux. Without contact, the defenseman separated his shoulder. Think about that for a second. Now, maybe that is a bit barbaric. You're causing injuries, but that's really athleticism. The problems with that in this playoff series, now that But Armour writes, it's a relic of a bygone, brutish era when people didn't know any better, and it adds no value to the modern game. Absolutely. And I'll put it this way. Every Olympics, every World Championships, fighting's banned under International Ice Hockey Federation rules. Who complains about missing it? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much established, as I said before. Athletes. I mean, you have to have the endurance of basketball, the hand-eye coordination of baseball, and, yes, the endurance, the physical toll, being able to take the hits like you do in football. Only you do it 3 times a week, not just once. As a result, yeah, that's where I think the best athletes are. Same international talent pool that you'd see in baseball or basketball. Doesn't get as much attention. Why? Maybe because there is still a sizable amount of the population that says the sport is barbaric. Why do they think that? Because all they know are the hockey fights. And that's really tough to take in 2019. Hey, you know what else is tough to take? Well, maybe it was not tough to take. It was tough to believe. Jimmy Johnson, you know he ran the Boston Marathon. Do you know his time? 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 7 seconds. I mean, that's what? About a half hour, 40 minutes off the pace? That's incredible. I talked about hockey players being athletes. There's always that debate. Are NASCAR drivers or race athletes? Well, you run the Boston Marathon in 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 7 seconds. I got a tough time saying you're not. Let's see here, I've got 2 more minutes here. I should point out, let's see here. Let's give our sponsors for Unicoi County Sports. Our next baseball broadcast will be the 23rd, when I'll be behind the mic, and the Unicoi County Blue Devils two district tournament games, in addition to the regular season action that you will hear. It is the 23rd, when Johnson County, the Longhorns, come in. When I return, we're going to talk a little bit about another